What's going on, guys? Welcome back to LOI Fan TV. I'm joined today by Socko, and we're going to be discussing the FAI Cup semi-finals this weekend. Two absolutely cracking games in store. First off, obviously going to be going to Dalymount Park and then moving across to Richmond Park as well. So to see preview predictions ahead of the two cracking ties. Socko, how you keeping, fella?
Good, man. Cheers. Good to see you.
Yeah, no, delighted. Yeah, I haven't done this in a while. It feels weird, doesn't it? It feels a bit rusty.
We'll be okay. We'll be okay.
That's it. Sure look, you know yourself. Bows Waterford going into it. A few lads are going into it now. You're not yourself. You're going elsewhere. But looking forward to that game on Friday. Should be an absolute cracking game. You're at the Bows Rovers game in Tala this week. How did that go?
Yeah. Obviously, from a Bows point of view, they'd be bitterly disappointed to lose that. To play more than a half with an extra man, like I know against the league champions, but you kind of want to be winning that. They did have the chances to win it. Promise and Cherry. I think Dawson Devoy had a brilliant chance in the second half as well, which just never came. And I'm sure everyone watching this has seen McGuinness's mistake. Brought in following James Talbot's injury in the warm-up. We don't really need to go over that again. Clear howler from the goalkeeper.
I felt bad for him in a way, just to cross check for a second, because it was a clear one of second start of the season, completely rusty, because he is a good goalkeeper. I remember, was it last season, he was getting a lot of games nearly ahead of Talbot at one stage. He is a good goalkeeper. It was clearly just brought in last second to start the game. I felt bad for him in a way, because it was clearly just a rustiness of a keeper that hasn't played an awful lot.
Yeah, and the stand behind where the Rovers Ultras are, they have a camera there, and RT put it up. If you look at that angle, Richie's house shot, you can just see like maybe that much. Like he moves too far to the left.
Yeah.
And if he just moved like half a yard, these the fine margins in these games, he would have collected it, looped over the goal. In fairness to him, he didn't put a foot wrong for the rest of the game, and in fact made sure Bows got a point and didn't lose it. He made two superb saves from Maku with a few minutes to go. But Bows be bitterly disappointed to lose that. They did start kind of slow as they have in a few games this season. Came into it more then. Obviously got the goal, brilliant kind of team goal, counter-attack. Did have the chances to win it. Could have really done with the win, them looking for a European spot now. But they have a kind of safety net of if they win the FAI Cup, they're in Europe as well then. So they host Waterford for their third meeting this season on Friday night. It's live on RT2. Bows won 3-0 last May. Devoy, Tierney and Lyons with the goals. It's the fourth meeting this year. They've played 3 times in the league already. Bows also won 1-0 in April, and Waterford won the most recent meeting last August. Phoenix Patterson with the goal. So it should be a cracker now.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bows' performance against Rovers kind of summed up their season in a way, though. It's so inconsistent. They've been excellent at times, and then at times have dropped off completely. If you look at their results from this season, they've obviously got 12 wins, 11 losses. That sums it up as well. Then you look at the European run, they're super there as well. So it really does sum them up in terms of that inconsistency. You don't really know what you're going to get with them most of the time. Their last 5 games is an element of it again, their inconsistency. They've won 2 draws and 2 losses. Just touching on, just before we jump into this game in particular, in terms of how we think it's going to go, Stephen Bradley made some comments about Bows following the game on Monday evening. He said that Bows dropped off and played very negatively in the second half and didn't pressure Rovers as much. Do you think they were kind of fair comments from Stephen Bradley? I know he got a bit of slack for it, I think, online afterwards.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with that now. I suppose if you're kind of biased towards Rovers, you might say that. I think Rovers have to be the highest scorers in the league so far this season. Bows are weaker at the back than they would be going forward. So I think it was inevitable they'd kind of sit off a little bit. Possibly set off a little bit too early than some would have liked. But you can't deny they didn't have the chances to win the game. Midway through the second half, they could have went 2 or 3-0 up. Cherry, Devoy, Lions, I think, had a great chance as well.
Yeah.
Possibly unfair. I always kind of find it strange when managers kind of focus on the other team rather than reflecting their own performance. Maybe Bradley was trying to
deflect away from their performance because they weren't great.
Deflect away from their performance. Where for long periods, like Bows bossed Rovers all over the pitch, and it has to be said, like without Bows fans in Tallaght Stadium, that's a whole different other chat we might have. So I wouldn't necessarily agree with them comments. What about yourself?
And I thought, it maybe kind of half time came at a bad time from they were kind of getting on top of the red card. It gave Rovers a chance to reset maybe, and it was inevitable that Bows were going to have to sit back a little bit, but the fact that they were pressuring them so well in the first half, if they could have kept that up for maybe a little bit longer in the second half, but at the same time, it was a precious points that they were trying to try and get, and it's just a case of trying to protect your lead. And I suppose I thought, as you're saying, I think they had a couple of chances of their own. I think they approached it in the right way. They just didn't take their chances, and that's the way it is. Obviously, not taking your chances was a big factor that night without Georgie Kelly. Moving on to that, 3 big players missing for them. Georgie Kelly, of course, Ross Tierney, and James Talbot, who was injured in the warm-up. Have you heard anything about their availability for Friday?
Not so far, no, not so far. Bows usually have kind of team news and bits for the morning of a game. I think there might be a little media day or something the day before, so we mightn't hear anything until then. But yeah, that kind of, if you're going to pick three players not to miss it, it would probably be them. Like Georgie Kelly, I think 19 league goals this season, close to double the amount of anyone else in the league. He's running away with the golden boot. Ross Tierney, like Ireland under 21 international, he's been superb for Bows this season, especially in the European run. And James Talbot, like out and out number 1 keeper, they were a big loss. And bearing those losses in mind, like Bows played very well on Monday night, and you just kind of wonder if they had Kelly maybe instead of Omachari to take them chances, they might have took one of them. Does Talbot make that mistake? It's kind of impossible to say. Maybe not.
Probably not.
They were 3 big losses, and they'd be a huge boost to Keith Long to have them back on Friday.
For sure. It is because it's such a large part of their spine. It's literally the center of the pitch, like going up the way. There's 3 big players for them. But in fairness to Omashare, actually, I thought he gave a good account of himself. Thought he did well. Obviously, he was a big part to playing the goal. He played it to Keith Ward, who got the assist, and then of course he was the reason Pico Lopez got sent off as well. So I thought he gave a good account of himself. Definitely an area of the pitch that Bows are light in, though. Losing a striker, they don't have like a natural striker really to stand in. I think they had 1 or 2 players on loan that they lost throughout the season, but they never really got that kind of second choice striker. They haven't really needed it up until this point, really. So I'd say they'll be fingers crossed that Georgie Kelly will be fit. Maybe it was a precautionary thing that they left him out, but I can't even imagine that in the Dublin Derby. You'd think definitely be involved in some shape or form if he was anyway fit. So it'll be interesting to see the team news ahead of Friday from Bowes' perspective. Looking at Waterford, their last 5, they've been unrecognisable compared to the start of the season under Mark Burkham. They've been fantastic, and they're unlucky actually that Dundalk and Finn Harps are kind of picking up points and stuff like that in terms of avoiding this 9th place, because it looks like really tight. It's going to get down to the wire. Dundalk have been improved recently as well, but Waterford's last 5 games, they've won 2, drawn 2, and lost only 1 against Shamrock Rovers away. So they're in really good form coming into this. Obviously the last game they beat Finn Harps 4-1 last week, so that's a huge result for them. They'll be absolutely flying coming into this one. Looking at how they're going to set up for this game, I think it's going to be kind of maybe a low defensive block, trying to frustrate Bows because they have a lot of pace on the counter-attack. Waterford, a couple of players they brought in under Burkham. You mentioned him before. Phoenix Patterson has been fantastic for them. He scored 4 goals in 9 games since coming in. He's really quick. Another player really quick as well, Junior Quiterna, if that's how you say it. 5 goals in 10 games for him. He's looked super since coming in for Waterford as well. 2 really exciting players from them, and 2 players to definitely watch from a Bows point of view. John Martin, of course, as well. That's kind of their front 3. He has 8 goals this season. So very tricky game for Bohemians, this one, especially in terms of Waterford and the form they're in.
Yeah, potential banana skin, and we all know with the cup, like absolutely anything can happen. Waterford, of course, beating Finn Harps 4-1 and beating Bows in their last league meeting in August as well, 1-0. That said, though, they do, obviously, if you're going to be in ninth position, you're going to concede goals. They conceded 2 goals against UCD in the quarter final. Ended up beating them 3-2. And if you're Mark Burkham, obviously you're going to give the cup your best shot, but I just wonder how much it'll be playing in his mind that they're only 1 point from safety among that kind of 9th place battle with Finn Harps and Dundalk. Their last cup win, but on the other hand, their last cup win was 1980, 41 years ago. It'd be absolutely unbelievable to get to the final for them. So on the one hand, it's a massive opportunity, but I can't help feel that possibility could have one mind on just safety this year with 5-6 games to go, and so actually he was there at the Dublin Derby on Monday.
Yeah.
And you retweeted it. And funny enough, strangely enough, the exact same fixture is going ahead on Monday in the league. Bows are hosting Waterford again.
Are they? I didn't even know that.
Which will be interesting.
Yeah.
So would you rather? I don't know. Would you rather take a semi-final win or win on Monday? Kind of. It depends what side of the fence.
I'd say semi-final win, definitely. Sure.
100%. They could do a Wigan like get relegated if they win the cup.
Yeah.
But
being Europe in the first division.
He might have one mind on survival, but I probably agree with you there. He'll want to give this cup a right shot.
Definitely. I think he's made it abundantly clear that he's going to play his strongest team in the cup the whole way through now, and he might as well, I think, at this stage as well. And the thing about it is, even if you come 9th, there's a strong possibility that they will stay up as well. Like it's not a death sentence. Like they're definitely still in a strong position if they come 9th compared to probably they've played UCD already. They've beaten them before, and that's probably up there. That UCD probably be one of the toughest teams to play out of that group of teams. So yeah, I think they'll definitely be going for it this weekend. They've had to push you for a score prediction in that one.
Ooh, I'm gonna go for Bows with a 2-1 win.
Nice.
That will depend, I think, on Georgia Kelly's inclusion and possibly James Talbot's inclusion. That might sound harsh, but like McGuinness, like
small margins,
he can make a mistake at any time, and you'd much rather have Talbot in there. But Bows win 2-1.
Because with Tierney out, you have Keith Ward to go in. It's a nice replacement. Like out of all the positions to be losing out, they have a strong player to come in there. Where the other 2 positions, it's a bit more of a blow, you'd feel.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-1 Bows, and I couldn't believe, on a side note, when I looked, I think Bows' last cup win was 2008, which is kind of a mad stat.
Yeah.
You wouldn't kind of think that. Score prediction yourself?
I'm going to go for the upset, Soccer. I'm going to go for the upset. I'm going to go for 1-0 to the Blues. 1-0 Waterford. That's what I'm thinking.
Up the Blues?
Up the Blues, yeah. I think Waterford have it in them. I think they'll be defending very well, defending for their lives. They've a couple of experienced lads coming in, the likes of Greg Halford, Premier League experience coming in at the back. That'll be crucial for them. Is Brian Murphy? I think Brian Murphy was sent off in their last fixture. I'm not sure if he's going to be available for this one, their keeper.
I need to double check if that's a league, like it's in the league. So I'm not sure if that applies to the cup. I'm not sure.
Not 100% sure. That'll be big, but. Yeah, I'm going to go for the upset. Why not? I think I have a funny feeling about it as well. When I saw the draw first made, Burkham's effect on them, he'll be buzzing for it, I'd say. The FAI be raging, not having Bows going to the Aviva for the final. But I think I do fancy the upset here for some reason. It's appealing to me.
And of course, a full capacity final.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. We'll move on to the second semi-final as well then. Of course, St. Patrick's Athletic playing host to Dundalk. Another really, really tough one to call here. St. Pat's come into this one. In their last 5, they've won 2 and lost 3. And then, so it's not in great form, really. They've lost to the likes of Derry, Rovers, Sligo in their last few games. So it's going to be, yeah, Pats have kind of gone off the ball a little bit. I think they've second place more or less wrapped up. They can maybe take their eye off the ball a little bit in terms of they have Europe sealed through the league, so they can fully focus on this cup. How do you think they're coming into this? What kind of shape are they in?
Yeah, obviously in iffy form. They started off the season brilliantly, picked up a good few wins against the top few teams, but as you said, kind of after the summer, kind of went off the boil a little bit.
Off the Ethan Boyle.
That's shocking.
Oh,
shocking. 3 losses in the last 5, and one of them a few weeks ago, I was there at the last minute goal against Rovers. Absolute gut wrenching for them. Just a bit of team news. John Mountney remains out, and Sam Bones suspended from the quarterfinal. Cork City did take them all the way to penalties in the Cup before, I think in the second round, and then they beat Wexford 3-0, 10-man Wexford 3-0 in the quarterfinals. I don't know. Kind of, it's hard to say. I think they will obviously give it their best shot, but just the form is the only thing that concerns you. I think it's been 2014 since they won a cup, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think they want their top players on top form if they're gonna give Dundalk. Like, Dundalk are so unpredictable. Like they go out 1 week, lose to Waterford or Flint Harps, and then they'd beat Rovers the next week or something like that, like we saw 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think Chris Forrester, Ronan Coughlin, Matty Smith, Forrester and Smith on 8 goals each this season so far. Yaros has been brilliant in goals this season. Paddy Barrett at the back as well. It's going to be a cracker, all right. It's just really hard to call. The form is the only thing that concerns it.
With Pats. Whereas Dundalk's form is actually, in terms of Dundalk's last 5 league games, I think they're unbeaten. I think they've won 3, drawn 2, which is a big turnaround under Vinnie Pert in terms of their league form. Their last game they drew against Bows, of course, and they beat Rovers the week before that. So they're coming into this full of confidence. It's a weird one with that kind of thing of Michael Duffy and McElhenney both leaving the club at the end of the season. That's kind of looming over them a bit. Obviously, they have a relegation battle on their hands as well, which is looming over them as well. But Pat Hoban seems to be back amongst the goals for them as of late. That's a big, big plus, because I'd say for the last couple of seasons, he's been the best striker in the league, and if they can get him firing, that's huge. Dundalk in the cup as well always seem to do well. Of course, they are the holders of the cup. You wouldn't have expected them to keep a hold of it now a couple of months ago, with everything going on, but they've picked up a little bit as of late. And yeah, with the form Pats are in, Dundalk will fancy their chances, definitely, you'd feel. Yeah,
like if you look at the stats, it's insane. Like, Dundalk have played in 6 of the last 6 finals. Won 3. I think 2 of them went extra time, including last year against Rovers. Pat Hoban's a big one. 11 league goals this season so far.
That's mad. He's got 11 goals. You wouldn't even think that. Like, he's still chipping away. Like,
he's going to be a big one if they're going to have a good shot at this. Dundalk have been so unpredictable this year so far. But if there is any cup team with good experience, I know a few players have left, and Duffy and McElhenney are on the way out, and Gary Rogers retired, and Brian Gartland's out injured, but a lot of that squad have been involved kind of the last few years, and will that cup experience stand them? Possibly. That said, it's the first time since before COVID there's a full capacity of Pats. I can't remember the how much Richmond holds off the top of my head. Was it 4,000? Is it
something like that? I think yes.
Apologies, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think Pats are selling away tickets for this one. Say no more. But that'll work in Pat's favour. Obviously, they made such a noise when they hosted Rovers a few weeks ago, down the shed end with the ultras. But the form Pats are in against Dundalk's cup experience, I'd be inclined to go for Dundalk win here, but just by a goal.
What scoreline do you think?
2-1.
2-1. Yeah. Huge goal. Yeah, I love it. Do you think the same thing applies to Dundalk as does Waterford, in terms of you're saying possibly with an eye on the league, or do you think for Dundalk, they focus a big focus on the cup? I mean, even with players kind of leaving out the door next season, they're not going to be too concerned about. Maybe that's a bit harsh, but they're not going to be overly concerned about where the team finishes this season in comparison to maybe having another cup medal in their cabinet at the end of their career. So yeah, I think probably another case of it's a cup semi final, only one game away from the final. I think you have to go all out, don't you?
Yeah. Dundalk are 3 points ahead of Waterford in the league at the moment, but I think Waterford do have a game at hand.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's like Dundalk at all to just kind of focus on the league. And like in previous years, they've been focusing on winning the league, whereas they're at the other end of the table.
Yeah.
This year, no, I don't think so, and I don't think their fans be happy with that as well. They've seen their team get to the last 6 finals, and they'll be hoping to make it a 7th.
That's like a thing, isn't it? That's significant. I think the fact that they've been in the last 6 of 6 finals, that's like the shows that they have that pedigree, that experience. Now a lot of the players have moved on, your Rogers, your Shields, and the likes, but even still, like that the club has been in these finals and knows that's where it kind of belongs as of late. Like, so I think that's seriously significant that they've been in these finals. Pats, as I think it's been a long time since they've been in a final. Yeah, I think that's significant. I do think it's going to go to a replay, isn't it? It's not extra time. I'm pretty sure it's a replay.
Replay the Monday, yeah. 3 days later, yeah.
The match, the cup replay is 3 days later, is it?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, if either game goes to replay, it's played on Monday night, and then Monday's league game is postponed then.
Could they just do Bows and Waterford could play the replay, but have it at their league game as well? Just play it once and the winner takes all.
6 pointer. 6
pointer.
Actually, I need to double check something. Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, I knew it was Bows and Waterford in the league on Monday, but Pats and Dundalk are playing each other as well on Monday.
On the Monday, are they?
That's both cup ties are league fixtures on the Monday, so
that's crazy.
Crazy, yeah. So as far as I'm aware, if it goes to extra time in the replay.
It's a replay. It go to extra time in the replay. Yeah, I think this one's going. I think this at Richmond Park on Friday is going to be a 1-1 draw. That's my prediction. I think it's going to go back to Oriel Park. That's what I'm thinking. I don't see a winner on the night. This one I can't separate them myself now. But I think that's the significance of getting to these finals and having that in your locker and the know-how of doing it. We'll see Dundalk through eventually in this tie, but it's hard to know as well. Especially with Pat having the likes of Robbie Benson there as well, kind of people that have done it themselves. So that's significant in itself. But I just think there's something about Dundalk being in the cup. It's like Liverpool in the Champions League or something. You never write them off. Like you just always fancy them or something, don't you? It's just a weird one.
But yeah, obviously that was it. Yeah, the final on November 28th. 100% crowd, which is great to see. Like we've seen an increase year and year of crowds pre-COVID the last few years. We were seeing like 30, 35,000 ish, 40 even. So hopefully another savage crowd. Not only just the supporters of both teams, like hopefully a good few neutrals get to it as well.
Definitely, for sure. You'd like to think like what's the maximum that's ever been at NFL Cup finals? It's never been full, I don't think, hasn't it?
That's a great question.
I don't think it's ever been. I'd say it's around 30k mark or something like that, to be honest.
Yeah, they were in Hell Lansdowne Road for a long time. Before that, Dalymount Tolka hosted a few as well, didn't they?
Yeah. But I just wondering if even I'd say Cork Dundalk probably been the highest maybe or something like that. Like I'd say if you had the two Dublin clubs in the final, you'd feel a lot there now. Pat's Bows probably what the FAI is after in terms of the cup final they want. But Pat's Bows, I'd say that would you say that would fill the stadium?
Yeah.
Checking, yeah.
Fill it. I didn't hear you say Phil.
Phil might be a big ask for 50k.
Maybe, yeah. I think if it's Pat's Bows,
you'd get a lot of that, wouldn't you?
30 minimum,
easily.
Yeah.
You get 30 easy.
You'd like to imagine it's kind of hard to call, but especially after this,
you get a lot of casuals going to that. Like,
yeah, the support we saw Bows get in the Viva in the Conference League in the summer.
What did they get? 10, 15? Was it 10 or 15 or something? Was
it was.
I think it was 10 max. I think they had.
Yeah, I think it was 6 for the first game, and then 2, and then 10 for the last two
And
games.
the 10 sold out fairly quickly, I'm pretty sure as well,
Yeah,
which is a good
yeah,
sign.
yeah,
Like there would have been
yeah,
more demand as well, I'd imagine.
yeah. And sure, the half the tickets went on sale yesterday, and they were gone within 5 minutes for Friday's fixture. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
support is there. So
Yeah, 10 minutes, 10
um,
minutes now. I'm not a Bose fan. It's 10 minutes now, not 5 minutes.
um, yeah, fingers crossed. I think the last FA Cup final with fans is 33,000.
Yeah.
The largest one I can see here was actually 2010. Sligo beat Rovers after extra time. There's 36,000 at that. So if you're hitting 40, that'll be
Hitting 40
super,
would be
wouldn't it?
superb. Yeah, 40
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be
Obviously,
40 would be dream like.
yeah. Obviously, if you're looking for kind of the biggest crowd possible, you'll maybe looking at Bows, Dundalk, maybe. But then on the other hand, it could be Bows Pats
The
because
Dublin
it's
Derby in the
been
final would be good as well.
yeah, yeah,
Hasn't
and
been like
especially
that in a while.
yeah, and especially been 7 years since Pats were in a final, or
Yeah.
sorry, like they last won the cup.
Yeah. And what 2008 for Bows, like it's huge fixture.
Yeah,
40k. I don't think 40k would be too far off that. I don't think if you got to
yeah,
Dublin
hopefully,
Derby.
and yeah, and if tickets are, I know for the
COVID as well, people getting back into the ground and stuff. People to be big, hopefully big buzz about it as well.
yeah, I know it was only 25,000 at the Ireland Qatar game, but the FAI did a super thing and they put all the adult tickets at 20 quid.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll be a similar situation for the final. Like I'd imagine
Oh
it would
yeah,
be.
yeah, definitely.
And you get as many people in the door as possible. So yeah, two great fixtures on our hands now on Friday. Potential replays, proper cup fixtures like Dundalk with the great experience. Pat's 7 years since their last cup. Bows 13 years. Waterford 41 years. Like, so it's proper like cup football. So Bows Waterford's on RT2. Pats and Docks on LOI TV and Pats and Dock. So yeah, hopefully 2 cracking cup games.
That's it. Last thing I'll actually mention on this as well, the significance of this as well in terms of course, Waterford and Dundalk both being down the bottom end of the table. Should they go on and win the cup, they secure a European place. That takes away 4th place. So 4th place won't get a European spot. So you're looking at potentially Derry, Sligo, Bows missing out on it through the league. So that makes it even more significant. If a Pats go on and win it, then 4th place will most likely get it. But say if Bows finish wherever, it's so see that's something to play. Like there's no usually you have maybe a Shamrock Rovers that are in the mix as well, and you'd like them to win it. In terms of maybe 4th place might want them to win it, so 4th place will get the that European spot. But it is really there for the taking. And that 4th spot is not a guarantee for Europe at all this season. It's really exciting.
Yeah, that's a great point. Actually, I didn't think of that. I suppose worst case scenario for Bows is they get knocked out, or Dundalk or Waterford win the cup, and then they have to make 3rd, which might be
tough.
Tall order at this stage. There's just 5-6 games left in the season. So yeah, all this sort of jeopardy. Getting into Europe next year, like it's what cup football is all about.
Absolutely.
I know I for one, I know I'm working on Friday night at another game, but I'll definitely be keeping a close eye on the scores and half hoping there might be replays so I can actually get to one.
Yeah. Should you get to the final no matter what anyway?
Definitely, yeah. We'll have a few points.
That's it. Socko, absolute pleasure.
Cheers, man. Good to see you.
Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. And make sure to like the video if you did enjoy, and make sure to subscribe. Please comment with your predictions for the games down in the comments down below. Much appreciated. Thanks for tuning in, Socko, gentlemen. Pleasure as always.
Cheers.
Talk to you in a bit.
See you.